Okay, this is Mrs. Wakauskas. It is March 13th, and this video is on citing work from Artstor. So we have made this set of examples for starting artwork, and I'm going to put in an example template. And it varies from MLA just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. We were trying to make this doable so that it wasn't so much work, but we need you to understand how you kind of got to account for the artwork that you use. So if you get it on an online database, um, everything looks the same. Um, you have database name. If you get it from a website, you have the URL, the end. In reality, in both MLA, in both online databases and websites, you don't actually put the location. You only put the location if you viewed it live. I don't think that actually makes a lot of sense. I really think you want the reader to know what museum it was in, but there's a couple reasons why we want you to do this, but it's one of the reasons we're wanting you to do this is we want to make sure you're using museum quality work, and by building that citation and stating the location, you know that. Okay, so we're going to go do from our online databases. Okay, so I picked this one right here, Archaistic Artemis from Pompeii. Um, I don't know why it's called Archaistic Artemis. I'm not sure if I'm saying the word correctly, but it comes from the word archaic, which means like out of date or outmoded or something like that. Um, but we picked this because it, like I said, it doesn't fall right into the template. So I hit cite this item, and okay, we get a little bit here. So MLA says Archaistic Artemis from Pompeii, and it gives all this different image information, and it tells what year it is. It's from 1890 to 1900. Okay, so alrighty, you have to do I'd get rid of this image view description from front, image view type overall. That's part of the title because I think somewhere there's a picture of the back of it. So, and they're trying to differentiate the two. But I think for in this situation here, you just want to use the archaistic title Artemis from Pompeii. The second thing that I'm going to say, which if you see here, cite this item, it tells you it's 1890 to 1900 because it is a plaster cast. I don't know if you've ever seen plaster of Paris. Something we used to play with when we were younger, like in second grade. When I was in second grade, we would make casts using plaster of Paris. So someone's made a cast of this giant sculpture, which was somewhere else because the original, if you come down here, is from first century BCDE to first century CE. So BCE is before Common Era. CE is Common Era. You might see a before Christ, and then sometimes you see AD, but we typically use BCE and CE now. I don't know when that change went over, but I know it does. And they're saying the original repository is Naples. It's the National Archaeological Museum. Okay, so there's a couple different things you could do. I think I might say that, especially because what you're trying to do is you're trying to find some artwork that depicts, you got to have six pieces of artwork that depicts your god or goddess from that time period. And I think the point of picking it from that time period is so that you can see how, whoopsie, I don't mean to do that, how the god or goddess was portrayed or depicted by the people back then. So I think it's safe to actually say this could be one of your older ones. Um, and then you would say the original repository is National Archaeological Museum. So if you think about it, what this is telling you is Cornell University made a plaster cast of this. Okay, so um, so again, for I think for this situation, you can cite it as a work from antiquities, right? Okay, so we're going to go through here. So we're going to grab this title. And we're going to put it right here because that's going to be the first part of our citation. Why is that the first part of the citation? Because we don't know who the creator of this artwork is. And we usually don't know the creators of artworks from antiquities, from that time period. Okay, so we're going to move on. After the title of artwork is period, then year. And so Remember, we didn't actually have a year, we had a time period, and it's perfectly appropriate to cite a time period. The one thing that I'd like you to do is to be consistent as you move through the time periods. Oopsie, I must have passed it. So sometimes you'll see it say first century BCE to first century CE. And then you might see somebody else spell out century. Somebody else might do something different. What I'd like you to do is be consistent throughout. Okay, so the time period is, there we go, period, location. Since we're citing the original, and the original repository is National Archaeological Museum, that's where we're going to put here. And then we put the name of the database. And I think just about all of the stuff that you are store. Give me a second. Okay. I've seen some people do Artstor with capital A, capital R, capital T, like JSTOR is, but that is not how it is here. So keep it like it's, like it reads naturally, with just a capital A, big A, then little R, STOR. Okay, and then it ends in period. Okay, so now we're going to turn this to Times New Roman. We're going to take it to 12 point. We know that the title of the artwork is italicized, and the name of the database is italicized. Okay, and I also need to do a hanging indent, but you won't have to do a hanging indent because you're just going to be pasting these. I just can't help myself doing hanging indent. Oopsie, trying to make hanging indent there. I can't get it. Yikes. Let me try that again. I don't know if what's getting me is that I'm screencasting it, it's not grabbing it. Okay, but anyway, it should have a hanging indent. I don't think you're going to have to do a hanging indent because you're just going to put it in small type at the bottom of your slide on your PechaKucha. Okay, so that is citing a piece of artwork from Artstor. Okay, you don't put the URL when you're doing the database. If you have any questions, come see me, but I want you to recognize how very few things will fit into this nice little template. And if you are at all concerned or worried and you're not sure, come see me because I'm the one that's grading this part of the assignment. So make sure you ask me. Don't, not that Ms. Dent can't answer your questions, but let her worry about all the Greek mythology stuff, and I'll help you with all this aspect of it. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions.